All right, and we are live. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. The microphone shouldn't be too loud, although I moved it closer to myself since the last stream. We'll be starting in about 2.5 minutes. Unfortunately, I'm no longer the highest rated player in the room. It happens. We got about 19 right now. Hopefully, we'll get up closer to 30. We're just waiting for the first round to start. As many people we can get to come by and watch the stream. If I'm looking over to the side, I'm looking at I have my stream set up on my second monitor, which also has the Twitch chat on it. So if you comment on the Twitch chat, I'll be able to see it there. All right, only about 15 seconds until we can go
10,
ahead and get
9,
started.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's see who I got. Oh, great, I have to play the other top player. I won't berserk the first round, not against someone of the same rating. Instead, I guess I'll just play normal chess. Okay. So you have a pretty typical Slav setup. I'm not sure if I want to play b3 and bishop b2 and keep the diagonal open, or if I want to play d4 and play a more typical Slav, which is normally reached through a different move order. It's not an opening that I'm super familiar with. I normally play stuff like bishop g2. I'll go ahead and play it. If he plays bishop d6, okay. I need to think about playing g4 here. This is a really aggressive sacrifice line that I've played for a couple of years. I'm not sure if I remember the theory on it, which is tricky. It's not easy to play this way. I'll do it. Let's see how he responds. I mean, knight takes g4 is like the technically best move, but very often people play h6 here. Or the immediate e5 is sometimes good. If he takes, I play rook g1. The goal is to take the g7 pawn. Rook g1. Some of the other players are already finishing games. Yeah, I have a really good score against this guy. Even though his rating is the same as mine, for whatever reason, we're 13.5 to 2.5. I have really strong games against him. Somehow. Okay, queen e7. His goal is to put some more force on the e5 square. I think playing e5 last move, though, was correct. Although, again, these lines are tricky, and I forget them often. I want to say the best thing is to just immediately play h4 and then g5. So h4, e5, g5. If he plays e4, I can take, attacking the queen. So h4, e5, g5. He has to move the knight, or he can exchange first. But either way, he's going to have to move the knight. Somewhere. And then maybe I can put g6. And that's maybe a little too much. I should take on e5 first. Okay, pawn takes. This does free up the d5 square for the knight. I will take. If he plays e5, I'll play g5. I think the last time I played this line against this guy, I lost. So I'm interested to see what happens this time. I mean, the only consistent plan here is to play g5 immediately. I don't think it really makes sense to wait. Knight on h5 is kind of clumsy. And I really want to play g6 here. Yeah. I don't think anything else really makes sense. There's a lot of pressure on f7. He's probably going to have to push f6, which will open up the bishop and turn this pawn into a dangerous piece. Maybe rook h1, pinning the knight to the rook. There's a lot of possibilities here. Of course, all of this keeping in mind that my king is not in the safest possible position. Right? This is not a really safe opening. It isn't a bad one. I've won a lot of nice games with this g4 line, but it's not safe. It's very easy for white to get in trouble if the attack fails. I mean, I'm gonna play queen takes, right? And then what? Rook h1 pins this. Does that win? Does knight g5 win? Check is the threat, or check? Knight g5 king. Knight g5 king c7. And this has to be the best move. Of course, the double threats of here and here. I figured king c7 would come next. Now I have to think between these two moves. I have time to think, but not an infinite amount. I mean, the obvious problem is the rook is the only defender of the knight. I mean, he takes the knight. I think I take his knight, and I'm up at rook. Pawn takes, bishop before check, king f1. Well, I mean, what's the threat, right? It's... Sure, it's okay, but... I go here. If the queen steps off the file, then I can take the knight. Okay, well, obviously the queen doesn't want to step off the file. See, if I take this way, bishop e5. And then he gets the knight back over here. And I can't play this, queen e4, because check wins my queen. Sorry, I have to focus on the game. I'm going to turn my camera and mic off. I might totally mess this up in time pressure. That's looking more and more possible. When he takes a queenside castle and pin it. If I just play rook d1, he can play check, and I have to play here, and he can save his bishop. But if he takes the knight, I queenside castle with the pin. I mean, smart move, but now I'm going to save my knight. And then I'll just go here. And then I'll take this. And I'm up a whole rook. He can resign anytime he likes now. Both of the checks are covered by my other pieces. Okay, so now what? He's down a piece and a pawn. Okay. I have to do it this way. Alright, well, now that I finally finished my first game, some of these guys have played 3 or 4 games. I'll probably get a bunch of low-rated opponents now, and I can berserk repeatedly, and probably catch up. I'm going to take a quick break. Never mind. So I give up half my time, but I get an extra point if I win. But I no longer get an increment either, so it's actually closer to giving up like half to 2/3 of the total time. I'm going to play d5 next. Yeah. And then d4 if he'll let me. But he really should play d4 himself. But if he does, I'm going to play bishop f5 and kick the queen. No, I'm going to do this. Yeah, 100%. over here. Okay. I'll try to break down the queen side, I guess. Knight a6 next. All right. I guess I'll go back here. It's perfectly fine. Okay, I'll throw in this check. And then I'll play e5 to defend the pawn. I can keep the bishop on this diagonal. If he plays bishop a3, I'll just play rook e8. I can take that. It's probably free. Yeah. I mean, it lets him maybe try to open up the center somehow. Okay, I'll take that too. I'll trade. Just have an extra pawn. Okay. I don't think this is really dangerous. I think I'm probably just winning. Or better, anyway. Okay, that's not a bad move. He's going to try to checkmate me. And he just got his pawn back. So this is an approximately even position. Ah, okay. I'm going to ignore that. I think this is winning by force. Opening up the queen side ends the game. Mate. So you see I got 2 points for the first one, but 3 for the second because of the berserk. I should get an opponent somewhere in this range. Okay. I will berserk against this guy. He is pretty good, though. I'm going to play just a dragon. Okay, he played it this way. This is kind of like the least interesting way to play the dragon. So it's always disappointing when people do this. But I mean, if they don't want to play exciting chess, then I can't make them. wonder what I should take back with, actually. I mean, taking back this way is better for my pawns and stuff, but I'll do this. Hmm. Cool. Now I have 2 pawns in the center, which is exactly what I wanted. I'll play e5 next. If it'll let me, of course. Probably play f6 bishop f8 and redevelop the bishop somewhere more useful. There's a bunch of ways to play from here. But I want to make sure that I don't end up in time pressure. Okay. How do I improve this position? I could play here and open up the bishop. That's what I'll do. It does make this pawn a bit weak, but I can play d4 next. Like this, maybe? My queen's defending the pawn. My queen holds together a bunch of the stuff over here on the queen side. Oh, both of the pawns are under attack at the same time. Let's see. For whatever reason, I didn't see that. I hadn't considered it. But actually, I think it's okay. If you take second play rook a8 and take on a2. And then the c2 pawn is kind of weak. And this is defended by the bishop. This bishop is sort of out of play. Okay, so he decided not to take it, which is probably the right call for him. But now I'm going to do some rearranging. Yeah, I'm not at all interested in trading off that bishop. Not even in the slightest. This is a very powerful piece. I'll keep it until absolutely necessary. Okay. Yeah, reasonable move, right? Because if pawn takes, rook takes, it's annoying. But I can do this. He plays a3. I take, he takes. a4. Okay. Then I take the pawn. I'll take with the queen. Alright. I need to focus on time, so. I messed up and went the wrong way with my king. But I'll still be able to get the pawn. But not under favorable conditions. Now, this might actually be better. Whew, okay. Well, he definitely played the wrong move just now. So, I'm fine. He should have just brought his king over to the king side. Now I win. Close game. We'll take a quick break until my next game starts. That was quick. Okay. I've played a lot of games against Anish. He's a student of mine. As you can see, I've won 37, and he did win one. There was one game, we were playing some blitz games during a lesson, and I dropped a piece, and I might be substantially stronger, but I'm not stronger enough to easily win down a piece. So, it's not that simple. Can't just do whatever I want. Well, I'd like to. When he takes, I'm definitely going to play Queen B3. I'll take the knight if he takes it. Doubled pawns are not really that big a deal here. I think the resulting position is perfectly fine for white. White gets the open g-file. And I can castle queenside and then play king b1. Because he'll have traded off the bishop, so this diagonal won't be a problem. What about this? It's not pinned anymore. We've gone over these types of positions a few times in lessons. But there's a lot of little tricks. You have to play these moves in the right order. Knight e5 is very strong. I'm threatening things like knight takes, queen f4 check. If he moves the queen, bishop e5 check. comes next. Maybe knight takes d5. White at least wins a pawn here, but the actual end result may be stronger than winning a pawn. But at bare minimum, I win a pawn, which I'm perfectly content with. D7, bishop b5, knight c6. Oh, yeah, you can't do that. Sorry, buddy. I just pick up the queen. I don't know what this move does. I don't think it really does anything. But I see bishop f4 all the time. C5 looks good. So I'll play it. If he takes it, I'll play queen takes a5. Or it takes queen a5, sorry. Threatening knight takes e4 because of the pin on the knight. I'm going to play this. If knight takes, then knight takes. But if pawn takes, I'll play a6. Or pawn takes queen a5, but pawn takes a6 is definitely the right way to do it. There is like a really strong response. You could play takes a6, a4. But I think black gets enough activity that it's probably fine no matter what. If he sees a4, I might assume he's watching the stream. He better not be. It says 3 viewers. I think I can take this because of check. If he blocks with a knight, I can play bishop takes and then take back, but that does weaken my king side. Okay. I don't know what that threatens. What are you gonna do? You're gonna play like you can't play Queen H3 anyway. My bishop's on it. I could probably just take that, but I'm not going to. I think it's safer to decline. Goes that a pin? You can't play bishop takes. The queen doesn't really have a lot of good places to go. He'll probably play knight g5 and try to get me to take it. I probably will just play knight f6 anyway. I'm up 2 pawns, and I have an extra strong bishop. I mean, queen takes e7 is a move that I just completely forgot about. But if he takes it, I can take here and then take on f4, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll take this. The knight's defended by the queen, so it's okay. Okay. It's not really a bad reply. My rook's defended, though. You can take here, and then I take back. Okay, that looks fine. He'll take with the rook, for sure. Right, and then I'm going to offer to trade queens. because a queen trade puts me in an easily winning position. I have the bishop pair versus a pawn and a knight. I do have to speed up a bit though. I will take this. Oh no. Well, you know, these things happen. Just completely blundered. Unbelievable. Look, if he wants to draw up the exchange, I'll take it. Okay. Fine. I mean, I'm going to at least try to win, you know? That means doing stuff like this. That's pretty cheesy. I am covering the corner square. Well, I figured he wasn't just going to let me do it, you know. Queen e4 is almost definitely the best move. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good too. You can take this pawn. Camera off. I need to take it very quickly here. Well, that's the first time he's beaten me. No, second actually. He won a game a little while back. Rough game. Should have won. The in-game was probably okay. I mean, I had a pawn and a bishop for a rook and really active pieces, but with only a minute to think, it's just really rough. Okay, I will take this free tempo. It's really not bad. I wonder if he plans to take, though. He probably shouldn't. Okay. I guess I'll close the queen side and then play like e4 or something. Yeah, he's just going to play e5. If he wants to open the A file, he can. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a place to put my rook. It does give him this potential target for his knight on b4. So I don't know if it's a bad move, but I don't mind. Okay. Yeah, now the pawn's on it. So he has enough. But I'm going to play e4. Goes to the pin, he can't play G5. I, the key square is on the king side. I have more than enough attackers. There's no way he can defend this. Okay. Takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Rook takes check. Okay. I'm not berserking this game. My opponent is too high rated. Cool. He wants to play a mainline dragon? Oh, he's going to castle. The Bishop C4 line is what I grew up playing, so I know it quite a bit better. But I guess I know this line too. Just not really super well. Like, it's okay. I know the basic ideas. Well, I'm already kind of stumped. To be honest, I forgot what to do here. It's either bishop e6 or just e6. E6 looks to be the safest move. I have a lot of possible moves here, but what I actually end up playing is going to depend on how white chooses to continue. But I think I have a good position. I have pieces in the center. Okay, so now I have to find a new home for the bishop. But the bishop should be happy enough on this square, I think. I'll play this next, probably. Opening up the bishop, defending stuff with the knight. Okay, so now he's threatening to bring the knight into b6, so I can cover that with this. Oh, that's defended. I just need to keep improving my pieces. I think this turns out well, because if bishop takes, I can take here. Threatening pawn takes with check, winning a rook because of the attackers. So I think now he's forced to move the bishop. And then I can maybe take on b2. Okay, I know what I want to play, but I don't know if I can. Let me calculate this. I'll be back. Okay, for context, what I want to play is queen takes a4. Because if pawn takes, I can play either rook takes or bishop takes, and white's king is extremely exposed. If he takes on g7, when I take back, it'll be pinned. So I just need to make sure that he doesn't have a counter threat that gains a tempo of some kind. But I don't think that he does. I'm going to play it. I'll see what he does. And I'll see what happens. Okay, but now I'm just up a piece. A trade. And I mean, I guess I trade, right? And then I go here. I don't know if he should have. He probably should have taken my queen. Make me prove it, you know, because now with an extra piece, I should always win this game. You know, I'm good enough, right? Like I should be good. Okay. My target, of course, is C2. If he takes, I'll probably take with the rook. Okay, I'll pile more on it. Can I take? No. Can I play here? I don't think so. I need to just defend my pawn. Simple move. There's probably a better move, but simple move. Defend the pawn. Okay. And then here. Right? And then knight b4. The king should be safe here. Okay, takes, rook takes. Then what? If he plays check, I can block. Isn't this me? Now I'm going to spectate the rest of the games. Let's see. That game will be over soon. Writes up a piece in that one. That one's pretty early. Yeah, he's just running away with it. And he's got so many quick wins. He didn't have to play any of us. Yeah, he's just trashing 1400s. Right? Like, I spent the first 20 minutes on the first game, and then some of my games were pretty long. I lost this one game against Ashish that I probably should have won. I mean, I guess I can take a quick look at it. Computer analysis here. Right, okay, so white should have just retreated and had a reasonable position with an extra pawn. Although black is doing just fine here. This, of course, exploiting the fact that the knight is overworked, leads to black having a better position. Oh, I just completely missed the fork, forcing me to trade off this critical bishop. No, so I took more material. I'm not really sure where I messed up. I should have... No, I should not take the knight, right? Okay, I didn't take it. Yeah, I was just completely winning right up until I played this. I was totally winning, and then I dropped my rook. And even then, you know, maybe it's still okay. And for a while later, it ends up being dead even, according to Stockfish, who sees no way for white to really win in this position. Of course, if queen takes h5 here, then bishop f5, and now the threat of check, and now black is doing pretty well. But this is just horrible. Just walk right into mate. I forgot that this was pinned. I mean, I'm kind of panicking. I'm low on time, right? So I'll go right from a dead drawn position right into mate in 2. It happens, but it's really annoying. Okay. Bishop takes is kind of strange. That's definitely not the line. I mean, it's possible that he catches me and passes me in the last 30 minutes. Maybe I'll take some time to look at some of the lower games. So this one's interesting. Black has a bishop and a queen versus a bishop, knight, and rook. Both kings are in really strange looking positions. I wonder how we got here. Okay, so we had a Caro-Kann. I don't know about knight c3 or knight a6 for that matter. Wow, what a crazy tactical game. Everyone's position is disaster. I mean, yeah, white is up a piece right now, but that's incredible. I haven't seen a game like that in a long time. This is what happens when you have two, reasonably strong Scholastic players who are both much better at attacking than defending. Instead of, playing safe moves, they just chuck pieces at each other's kings and see what happens. I mean, it seems... I'm not really sure who's winning here. I'd probably rather play black because I like queens, but it's not easy to figure out who's better. What? Black just dropped his queen? Well... never mind. This will be interesting. Both of them berserked. Okay, Anish is playing the Black Redeemer, although black played knight c6, which changes everything here. Maybe not. Black should have played knight takes d4 at some point. I'll just let this game go on its own for a moment. Okay, so white did not get sufficient compensation for the pawn, although now black has dropped the pawn. So maybe we'll see how the rest of this game goes. The key here is that black's f pawn is passed. Black should have pushed it. Probably king here. King here. King f4 is too dangerous because of... Good. Yeah, he was going to play rook e4 anyway, right? Might as well find the most active place for the king. And if the rook takes, white can sneak his king over to f6. King f6. Perfect. Threatening mate on the back rank. Yeah, well, that's how it goes. You have to pay close attention during endgames. Let's find another game to watch. Okay, black has a clearly better center, I think. And the development lead. And some pressure on white's king. Although, I wouldn't say that black is winning, but I would rather play black here. Let's see if there are any other interesting games. Ah, the brothers are playing. Both of these are brothers. Anish is the older one. They're both about equal strength, although they are better at different parts of the game. So the results will probably depend on what kind of position we get here. We've gone over this position many times. Bishop g4 is not right because of knight e5, but both of them seem to have forgotten. We will have some things to talk about in our next lesson. But the position is not really bad. It's just not ideal. Okay. Okay, black should be clearly better now. 2 extra pawns, better pawn structure, pass pawn on d5, slightly better developed, and can force some more trades. But in games, anything can happen in the endgame here. We'll hang out and keep watching. This still, I think, should be winning for black. But anything can happen. I figured once the pawns over here drop, this game should be over. I mean, white should probably keep playing. It's not really easy, but white's king being trapped away from the pawns makes it almost impossible to continue playing here. Let's go back to the tournament. He's going to catch me. He just... Wait, no, he quit. He left. Only Evan. Only if he wins after berserking, which he did not do. White's extra pawn is over on the queen side. This seems like a problem. Although that might leave him exposed. Yeah, queen d4, protecting the pawn and trying to trade. Having the extra pawn on the far side of the board away from the kings tends to be better. Because your opponent has to spend a bunch of king moves to get the king over to that side of the board. Probably trading rooks and playing here. That's what I would do. And then black can trade the other rook, and you have a bishop and pawn ending in which anything can happen. So let's, again, hang out here and watch this game. I'll chime in if I have anything to say, but mostly let's just see how these two do. Exactly as I suspected. Now probably the rooks will be traded off. Although white could play rook d6 check and keep the rooks because black can't block. So we'll see whether white wants to trade into an ending or keep the rooks on the board. I mean, it's already an ending. But the bishop and pawn ending is of a different character than with the rooks. White wants to keep the rooks. I think the best play here is rook here, trying to either win the pawn or trade the rooks. Trading the rooks should be better for white because after b3, white will end up with a pass pawn on the queen side. Yeah, exactly. And should be winning on the queen side because of the extra pass pawn. Okay, yeah, but white has to be worried about the fact that black's pawns are very far down the board. If he didn't play b3 immediately, now these pawns are all trapped. There's no reason to trade down to an ending that you can't win. Now, the majority on the queen side is useless. The pawns cannot move. And so the only thing in play are black's pawns, where he has an extra pawn. I mean, maybe this isn't losing, but after king e5 or king d5, threatening to walk in this way, if white plays something like g3, black plays g4, and that's game over. Okay, king d5, king c4. And I think black is completely winning. Let's go back to the tournament to see how things are going to turn out. Okay, so I get third. I lost one game. My games just took too long. Both of the people above me played many more games than I did, even though they actually paused out not long after me. I beat Turkish Lion. That was his last game too. We both stopped after that game. He finished the game he was playing at that time, and then he stopped. So none of the top three played for the last couple of minutes of the tournament. Anish did not have time to catch me. So that's how it goes. We get third, Marcel and Sim get first and second. It looks like, let's see, who won that game? Did they agree to a draw? No, black ended up winning. Yeah, that's sort of what I figured. King c4 and then you push, and black will win. Maybe. Yeah, black's completely winning. Okay. Anyway, so this is our Saturday tournament. We'll have another one on Monday that I'll be streaming. We have tournaments on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday every week. So, and I'll be streaming those each week unless someone else wants to take over for one of them. All right. Make sure to follow the channel. I'll be uploading this video to YouTube afterwards, and I'll post a link there. And I'll see everyone on Monday.